everybody, my name is Debbie Sue. I'm a writer, director, and producer, and here are 5 things that I wish I knew when I started producing. Number 1, make a clear decision and stand by it. Instead of asking yourself, what do other people think I want? You should be asking yourself what you want. Even if a decision inevitably turns out to be wrong, the most important thing is that you made that decision at all. The last film that I shot, it was a short film called Paper Cranes, and I wanted a kind of underwater look, so I asked my DP if we could shine a projector light on my actors' faces. We tried this out, and the projector flicker rate was not the same as the frames per second in the camera. It's called banding. There's dark lines that go over your actors' faces, and I said, we'll go ahead with it. We screened it on the big screen. It wasn't as noticeable, but the DP and I were staring at it thinking, okay, yeah, we can see the banding. The important thing was that I made a decision, and I'm never gonna make that decision again. Number 2, under-promise and over-deliver. I recently had a shoot with a Dominican restaurant, and we sat down with the owner, we showed her what we wanted to do, we showed her inspiration pictures, and we got into the space and I production designed it to look better than what we had pitched. We were able to anticipate the problems enough that we had enough time to do a little bit extra. When you have a deadline, let's say if you can realistically do it in 1 week, I would say to promise it to them in 3 weeks, because life happens, and that brings me to number 3. So number 3 is to assume that everything will go wrong, because it will. This is why it's so important for you, if you want to produce, to go out there and practice your filmmaking with your phone, with your friend, on the street. For my very first short film, I shot it outside in the middle of LA. There were sirens, there were helicopters, we had to ADR all that dialogue, and that's the thing is when you're just starting out, you're not good at ADR, you don't know what you're doing. I struggled to watch that film because of all the ADR, but it has taught me so much. Number 4, understand your comfort zone and then leave it. If nothing in your production is throwing you curveballs, you might not be widening your scope of imagination enough. So one of the films that I wrote that's been doing well in festivals was just in my dining room. It was items that I knew I could buy. It was chips and pizza. Everything was very controlled, and there were very minimal things that could go wrong. And while that's okay, I would highly encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and think of things that you might not be able to get right away. For example, for one of my films, I needed a coffin. It was very important. The whole story, the whole concept was built on the fact that one of my characters is in a coffin. There was a point in the production of this film where I wanted to give up, and so I had to sit back and tell myself, hey, one coffin, one setback is not going to trip you up this bad. You are going to push through with this script, and the stars aligned. One of my friends knew a classmate who knew somebody. That someone owned a mortuary, and that's how I found my coffin. But not only my coffin, I also was able to shoot in the mortuary. I never would have met such wonderful people and been able to shoot in such a wonderful space if it hadn't been for committing to the script. And number 5, be assertive. What I wish somebody had told me earlier on in my career was that being assertive and being a bit short and blunt with people, even if they get offended or upset, that is your strength as a producer. In fact, it's required of you. It's what people hire you to do. When you work with the correct people, hurting people is not going to be a concern, because you will be able to talk to them afterwards, you'll be able to work things out. On a set, when time is short, you're gonna have to make more assertive choices, you need to be more direct. And as you progress in this field, you're gonna realize that the people who hold it against you are not people you're gonna wanna work with later on. So there you have it. Those are the 5 things I wish someone had told me when I first started producing. So if you ever wanna connect, you can follow me on my Instagram at Debbie Sue Film, and I will see you there. Bye.